Okay, so today will be my grand finale episode for the little shenanigans I've been doing as a hunter. I keep switching through and doing all these gimmick decks of different classes as I've been going, but basically I didn't even mean to open that. But basically, it's been a little bit fun. I don't always do it like when it starts at the beginning of the month and ends, but it kind of makes sense here. And maybe I'll check out the twist mode, whichever it's going to be, or it's probably still not up. I don't know why sometimes they'll do it like every other month, right? Like sometimes they'll do it 2 months in a row where it's the same one, or now when they change it they take like a month off. That's stupid. Why not just keep the same old one going and then change it when you're ready at the beginning of the month after that? You can keep the same one going as long as you want. So the mini set is already out. Doesn't really matter to me because I barely even appreciated the expansion itself. I couldn't even tell you too much about what is new, and what we see in Wild is often very fun for that. We just, you know, it's going to be just random shit. I wouldn't even know the difference necessarily. Why do these look so cool now? I don't remember them having that little black. I almost would want that as a card back. You know, that's one thing that Magic kind of raises the question of, is like that Tim Burton card back is the card art for another card in the game. So it's like you could just take any card in any card game and just make that a card back that you can get. So imagine how many hundreds and thousands of card backs you could give players. Just let you choose, like how they let you choose the deck cover. Just let you choose any card back in your collection. Or if you have like a golden copy or something to make you have to actually pay for it a little bit. But if you have the ability to do that, then you can just use the art from any other card in the game. Lunar New Year. We've gotten pretty far in this, actually, all things considered. But yeah, I've been just fucking around with Hunter for a while. We're bronze rank 2. And so now we get to basically... That's almost a goal for some of these gimmick decks, both combined with how bad they often are, but also how little I play during the course of a week or a month or whatever, is just even getting the silver is almost like a badge of honor sometimes. But we had some pretty epic moments. I had that thing where the one thing saved me. The one thing I haven't done is actually hear all the emotes. I keep saving them. I got to make a point to try to use them all today between the two Sylvanuses. So what didn't I do that I was kind of... I haven't used Rexar as much as I wanted to, even though he's in all these decks. It's just like I haven't gotten the most fun interactions out of him. And I wanted to do this Emerus Lorthamar kind of synergy, but it's so slow and it's just not worth it. The one thing I kind of wanted to do was Yogg Saron plus Zul'jin, because I'm pretty sure that works, but I just don't even have enough dust or anything for it. I guess I should go out with a bang by trying to do that, though. If I bought like 11, 12 packs, would that be enough to make a... It almost feels fitting. I did that almost like with the last deck that I used, like some sort of a Explore Ungoro plus Yogg or something else. I don't know. I mean, obviously I can disenchant any class besides this here. You'd have to get really lucky. Right, like simply buying 12 packs would not be enough on its own at all. I guess it doesn't really matter which one we get either. The mini set is going to be 2,000. Or wait, I thought... Oh, that's because it's golden. So I thought that wasn't even that bad of a deal. Or you can kind of take the whole fun out of having to buy one at a time like that. Next, you're going to tell me they'll let me open them all at once too. Or not have to sit through the animation, which I get why. You know, maybe people would want to do that, but... Imagine if I never opened anything over all these years, because I haven't really needed the cards, or... I'm not doing it for like actual collection purposes. I could have done like a literal 10,000 pack opening or something. Yeah, see, that's the kind of thing you're gonna need. Even then, it still won't be enough. That's the sad part. Right, that's only 400, and then you got to get at least a couple epics in here too. They've never changed how this works or anything. The voices or the interface. You might say, don't. If it isn't broke, don't fix it. But why would you always have the same? I don't know. They just got maybe a little complacent with it, with all the cosmetics and the insane popularity for this game that they didn't even really expect. And I guess I thought the game was almost dying out in a way. Just when I hadn't played it for a while, I just assumed that, but somehow it's still pretty strong on Twitch or something. Or it had like some sort of resurgence at one point. It seemed like it was dying out, and then maybe it was like the Lich King expansion or something. When they're about to die, they have the Lich King literally revive the game. That's why it's called the Death Knight, because that is like an ace in the hole to pull out. Everybody just loves. Okay. That's at least 2 legendaries. That still might not be enough, all things considered. Epic. That's how insane it is, though. You have to get like 2 of those, and we'll barely have enough now still. So just between the epics and the legendaries, I should be able to do it. And even if they are hunter cards, I still don't even really care. I didn't really process which ones I got. Or for some reason I have Guff on here, which I don't really know because I haven't played as Druid, or maybe that's what I could continue and just do. I don't know what I want to do next. I just kind of decide on it on the spur of the moment. We got 2 neutral legendaries, I think. Resurrect your Ogre Gang, give them Wind Fury. Let's just see what this even is. Rush, 50% chance. Oh, they're kind of going to clown you with that. And then Reno. Wait, this is the first neutral hero card. I guess I didn't even notice this. If you're maybe I saw it and I thought it was like a rogue card just because it kind of has that little dim coloration to it. But yeah, this would be the first ever hero card that's not. Actually, if your deck has no duplicates, empty the enemy board and limit it to 1 space for a turn. It's high noon with an... Oh, you can't say that, though. You'll offend people because it's a reference to McCree, whose name had to be changed to Cassidy. Because, oh my goodness, it's like the same name as somebody in real life, McCree. Like, they didn't have to do that. Whatever the real life story is, it doesn't have anything to do with it. In the uncertain past and a questionable future, Reno is lucky to find his home on the range. Deal 2 damage, draw a card. Deal 2 damage, summon a random 3-cost minion. Like, this is kind of okay, but there's nothing really too crazy about it. Let's see, just do some epic ones here. I gotta make a point not to do the Druid one, though, because... Or at least not the Druid legendaries. Get 2 random dragons that cost 5 or less. Get 2 that cost 5 or more. Get rid of Priest cards, a class that I've almost never played as. Warlock, don't care. See, it makes it easy when you just commit to one class, but then you end up regretting it later too, because... Okay, 1200. We could try to do some rares. Not gonna really play as a Death Knight. I almost wanted an excuse just to play as one so I could use that title, because I realized I never used it on YouTube. The one that's like, the children of... The one that's on my channel art. The Children of Goldshire dueled with more ferocity. Because I obviously assume because it's in my art, I don't have to actually use it as a title, but I should always do it. Somebody's going to end up stealing all my amazing ideas one day, and then I'm going to feel shitty about it. That always happens with my chess titles. Like, they're actually so good that I kind of might want to do Shaman too, but I don't even know. Kind of fuck around with the evolve mechanics. So, like, we've touched on at least some classes, so we're going to kind of go through all of them in a way. So we touched with Priest and Rogue at the beginning of, like, last several months. We did Priest and Rogue for the underplayed class round robin. Then we did Warlock for Renounced Darkness mainly. Then we did Warrior for Explorer Ungoro Zin Azari. We've gone through 4 classes already. And so now we're doing Hunter, so then we'll have to see between the rest of them. I don't know what use I could find for Death Knight, really, because it's just kind of like... I guess I played that so much when it first came out, which was just like the end of... I was going to say the end of last year, but the end of before that, obviously. So let's just do Yogg, and we can try to force that in there to combine it with Zul'jin. If you cast 10 spells, spin the way... That one's not really as fun. How is this even considered a Titan, though? It doesn't even make any sense. After this using ability, cast 2 random spells. Has been known to monologue before he strikes. But his monologues were pretty sick. And then he even calls, like, the Algon thing, like... Like how, oh, this is the end for you and this miserable little seedling, and you wouldn't know really what he's talking about, or it's supposed to kind of come as a surprise. You can put that one in there, but now what do I get rid of? Emerus has been just fucking dog shit. This one's kind of fun because it sort of puts almost a permadeath condition on your deck. Like, it could be one of those things, like, when you get him... And you can't really subvert getting him. Like, you can't burn him or anything. Or you maybe could, but, like, you'd have to work around. Whenever you get him, you're forced to play him as soon as possible, kind of. We have the little Carnasa thing here. This is just a hodgepodge of a lot of different shit. Although I'm glad to see that this is at least a viable card again. Starving Buzzard. I don't know at what point they made that change. Shows you how little I pay attention, really, to hunters, but... don't know what I really want to get rid of here. I guess King Crush probably is the actual necessary choice. As much as I don't want to. We'll just go between these. We'll try to hear all the emotes. We'll try to have fun with Rexar and Yogg and all this kind of shit. And just see what we can do. And then next time, usually the first episode of like when I'm changing to play something else, I'll spend it mostly just deciding what I'm going to play in the first place. So like I'll go through and disenchant stuff and make something for one of these other classes. So let's see which one lasts longer. Normally these sessions don't go on long enough that I even get a chance to play as, you know, like if I lose one with each deck, that's almost enough to justify the whole episode. Not because, oh, it's so short, but because clearly I'll go on such a good win streak that it'll last so long. But I can always go back between them if I have to. Like, you lose this one, you go to the next, and you can go back if you lose again. But I normally like to do that as like a little permadeath deck condition. So yeah, let's try to hear all the emotes of this and use them at sort of the appropriate times. Just because that's part of the reason why I wanted to do Hunter, because I just wanted to show off the sexy, or that's part of the reason maybe why I want to do Druid, because I wanted to show off the sexy Sylvanas one for this. So I want to show off the Cthulhu Eye. Why he's considered a Druid exactly, I don't know. Just because he has to do with bugs and like some of the class reductions of characters are really hard to justify. Like, oh, Sargeras is a Warlock. Like, yeah, of course. Sargeras is a Warlock. You know how you know he's a Warlock? Because he stabbed his fucking sword through the planet and caused a major crater to appear. That's exactly the sort of thing a Warlock would do, right? In universe. They would take their sword and stab it into a planet and, like, they wouldn't be able to use a sword in the first place. Or they'd use it just because it's fucking spell damage or something, but, you know, little stat stick. But the point is they're just so powerful and above and beyond. And you know who else breaks that rule is, why is it all foggy there? Covering up my... Oh, I never noticed that. So it actually covers your namesake. That shouldn't happen like that. Yeah, this is the whole cute little Malagos. Actually, I'll keep them. This is the cute little Malagos thing where you're able to...
Greetings.
I see you've brought guests.
Fucking Renathal photo bombs my line. Audio bombs my thing. So clearly we're going to go on a good win streak, so I don't even have to worry about, you know, hearing them all here, but I'll just do it. So this is some older Sylvanas, so I don't even remember how you got it. I mean, you probably had to buy it from the shop, but it's definitely super old. Like, this card isn't even good, but it's just there for the fun of whatever the fuck we can do with that. You're going to be guaranteed to at least get 3 of them. And then if you already have 2 in your deck, that's going to be like 5 of them each, which is going to do like fucking whatever. Easy OTK condition. Never mind whatever damage you're doing. See, I almost shouldn't do this, but...
Sharp arrow. Sharper aim.
I misunderstood how that card worked from the perspective of... I thought it would hit the same target 3 times if there was only 1 target available. But in that, which would be insane, because then think about it. It would hit him for, you know, whatever the base is, even if it's 1, right? You'll do 6, 12, 18 just to his face, assuming nothing else is out there. It still takes some work to actually get to that point, but I should have almost held these guys back, but I kind of do just want to play on the board and stuff. We're gonna have to just degenerate, find an excuse to use these emotes. But what this little section of me playing as a hunter has done is it's almost made me pull out the same RP mentality as what I had in my hardcore classic thing, where I was playing as a hunter. So I would do all these titles that have to do with being a hunter. Whatever, you know, like, oh, the quiver is loaded, now it's time to let it rip. Like just when the deck is finished and I'm ready to play as it or something. It's just kind of weird, but it has some value to it. I could use that, but I don't really want to. Wait a second, wasn't this guy just why do I feel like this guy was just a 4 cost the other day? I must have used somehow Thracian on Thracian to reduce his cost. That's weird. But no, yeah, that's even better because now you won't even have to worry about the mana there. You'll be able to play two of them plus that guaranteed, and even another one. But I won't even have that many of them. Draw a 1-cost spell.
Living grab all kinds of things.
The 2 damage to an enemy. I don't want to do something about this other one, but I don't want to waste all my shit to do it. Oh no, wait. Fuck. This is going to be +2 attack and immune. That probably would be worth it. This guy's voice is pretty jacked out. I don't know. I never heard him like in game, or I never played at the time when he was there. But he was supposedly turned into like a raid boss. Wasn't he like the final boss of Antorus or something? Or maybe he was just a boss in there. When players beat Titans, like it's no big deal. And then there's some weird lore thing. Like I always know like fragmented stuff, but I don't know it from actually having played. It's like you fight like some sort of I can't remember. It's just stupid because you know, you get to a point where the heroes are just killing Titans and stuff. It doesn't feel like it very meaningful then. That feels unrealistic that you would ever be able to do that. Or even in the context of Sargeras killing all of them, supposedly, it makes it feel like pushovers. How was he just able to do that? That's a good way from a writing standpoint to avoid you having to actually meet them, or like, oh, that would be so overpowered if you work with the Titans. Then nobody would stand a chance, but now it's too late because they're already gone, so you just like see their ghosts or something. It's like with any story that goes on for too many sequels, like a movie series that goes on for like 10 parts, is the fact that basically you have a situation where you can you know, it gets worse with each one, or it's never going to be good at that point. Shouldn't I just be able to fucking do it now? Like, I don't even care.
A black arrow. A black arrow.
He's still not dead, so we'll give him a little. I didn't really calculate that out properly. But do you really think he can survive this? First of all, you have to deal with Malagos, if nothing else. That was still cute, but it required a lot of damage still on the board to be present. Otherwise, it wouldn't have worked. Malagos is just kind of a fun card, though, you know? Or I guess people would consider it not to be, because it's too stringently associated with just very predictable AoE type, or not AoE, OTK type things. Just like a combo that you know is coming and stuff like that. That's the one thing I... Oh no, it's not. If he had... Wait. If he has poisonous, that's a crazy combo you can do. That's not unlike that Rexar one that we do where you give the bat poisonous. It's like a rush poisonous death rattle. So it'll do the 2 damage AoE to everything, and it happens to be poisonous. He kind of fucked that up. He should have saved that for there. I almost thought that's exactly what was going to happen there and fuck me over, but that is still pretty good here. Even without the plus spell damage.
Well played indeed.
Such a waste of that ability, though. Unless he was just going to kill me outright with it, but it's like too much work. This was actually pretty close. Now we get the Emerus interaction. Still, we get cucked on that from the whole Lorthamar combination, just to show that we didn't win because strictly of the top deck. Never mind the fact that he just left Malagos out there, so we could have done even like another 17. We could damn near have dealt with Reno Jackson at that point. There's still a few more emotes we got to hear. That's really more important than anything else. She's got very clever, which I do like the snarky way she says that. And then, you know, like Banshee Sylvanas is the epitome of passive aggressive. Everything she's doing, even her whole leadership style and the fact that she is a leader, she's not doing it because, oh, she just cares about her people and stuff. She's always doing it to like prove something or to stick it to somebody. But ironically, she ends up being like more efficient than other people, even because of that. Like, this is the perfect thing to top deck as your final thing when you're about to deck out, which is exactly what happened. And actually, it was against a priest too last time that we had that moment happen. Just another typical low rated game of Hearthstone where you have some epic one in a million chance thing like that happen, like you're a Yu-Gi-Oh protagonist or something. you could say, oh, it's not that surprising because all I do is play at a low rank, but I also don't play that much. So the fact that so many epic moments like that happen is a bit of a surprise.
I trust you will not waste my time.
No Renethal to Kucky there.
Greetings.
You have my thanks.
I'm just trying to filibustering it. Yeah, she has that snarkiness to her tone, and I don't like how similar the voices sound. Maybe that's how it actually was, but I feel like this one sounds like how she should sound as a Banshee, but the other one sounds too similar. It should be a little more lively or something, literally lively. Yeah, this is just one of those busted kind of cards. There's no special meaning for why I have it in there. It has no fun factor, nothing to do with the deck. Yeah, I trust you will not waste my time. Also roping on turn 2. On turn 1, I mean. Yeah, her lines are pretty good. I trust you will not waste my time is kind of an interesting one to introduce the game with. It's almost like you could guess with some of these. I trust you will not waste my time. That's almost like a threat or some other... It doesn't seem like a greeting as much, but that's just how hardcore Sylvanas is. The oops, I haven't heard. Oops, threaten, and... Or no, I did hear the well played. Very clever was the wow. He's just not doing anything. Even if I threaten him, it has to be in reaction to him doing something actually impressive or annoying. Not that him not playing anything isn't that, but... If you cast a spell while holding this, I don't know if I should even worry about that. Your next spell casts twice. I'll just do it for basic board play. I don't really know. Some of the worst lines are just those generic ones like, oh, you have my thanks, or just thank you. They just say the thing that they're supposed to say for it. It's not really like, you know, something that has their personality to it, the way that like the greeting does. I don't know if that was an impressive enough play to really justify. If you played an eye while holding this, choose the second target. Which means also it couldn't be the same one. So some of these things almost prevent you from cheesing with them to the extent that... I don't know why I just randomly decided to go face there. Kill command obviously isn't too good with Malygos because whatever little extra damage it does isn't worth the extra 2 mana. Oh, here we go.
You too will suffer.
Yeah, see, that's exactly the kind of passive-aggressive thing we're talking about. But that's almost too direct. She wouldn't actually say that, but... Like, not you too, as in, like, my other victims. No, like me, because of everything she's been through. Right, you could interpret it either way. It doesn't Arthur say a line like that, too? You too shall serve. He always says that, so... Oh, fuck, now I won't be able to hear them, though. That means we have to win this one. When your opponent casts a spell, return it to their hand. Cost 2 more. When a friendly minion is attacked, summon 3/3 copies. After your opponent plays a minion, summon 2/2 zombies to attack it. You control 2 minions. After your opponent plays 3 cards, okay, the 9 damage isn't going to matter. Although it could damn near almost kill him at this point. I don't know how else you get those improved secrets. Maybe this is the only way. I feel like there must be some other card that mentions it, but I'm certainly no expert on the Hunter class. Because even though it isn't one of my least played ones, it's certainly still in the bottom half, I'd say. Mainly because you always associate them with aggro, so there's a lot of fun stuff that we've seen here over the years that they've added that obviously gives them a sense of identity outside of that, which is fun. Even if it feels a little bit contrived and like the... almost a gentrification, if you want to call it, of classes like in WoW itself, where every class went from being a specialist to where they had certain strengths and weaknesses, certain things they excelled at, and certain things they couldn't do, to now where it's like, oh, everybody just can do everything. A hunter can probably heal better than, you know, fucking healers in Vanilla Code, or some not even like value-wise. Obviously, it's a later expansion, but just I remember that like on a mage, like I can use avocation to full heal and dumb stuff like that. Like it's not really. So that means they actually stick around, right? Should almost be where they die at the end of the turn or something. Oh, what a mistake. You triggered both of my traps here. Although you do have a pretty impressive setup. I just don't really get what I'm supposed to do about it. Lord Thamar's not really going to help me here. Doesn't seem that scary what he has, but it's just kind of weird. I mean, that should probably be good enough here. And they'll keep coming back and even multiplying. Or, oh, I fucked up. I should have done the other one because somehow I thought those ones would have rush too, but I always forget that. Then I could just do like an infinite loop with them. Yeah, look what a casual gamer I've become. Where yesterday I played that Pokemon clone. Now I'm just playing a card game. Like it seems like my whole hardcore self has died out with respect to doing, I don't know, kind of more broad things. I'm doing all things which seem like they should fit into secondary series slots. What I almost wanted to do, because somehow the graphic style was there, I might be the first person who actually made that comparison from Pal World, is Genshin Impact. This somehow reminded me visually of that, so I almost wanted to play that for the second time ever. I just did like a super long intro session of it, the way that I tend to do with stuff, but then that was it. It's okay, especially if I can do Lord Thamar here, it would be kind of cute. This board is cleared out. I haven't heard this guy's emotes either. What didn't we hear for Sylvanas? We didn't hear oops or... What did she even say for well played? I can't remember. Oops or threaten, I think I didn't hear. But I'll win this, so I'll clearly have a chance. Maybe I could replace my greeting with a threat in the next one. I have to metagame how we're using emotes because we have to make it socially logical to do. I won't just do it for the sake of spamming them. But even thanking them for greeting me is an acceptable thing. But the more snarky way to do it that would even suit Sylvanas is to say like, oh, you did like a bad play, so I'm almost thanking you for it. So I wonder if I could do the Emerus thing here, because... Or that's the whole beauty of it too. It would shuffle 4, 8, 16, 16s if you had already shuffled... If you had already done Lord Thamar, if you did that first and then did Lord Thamar after, right? Because it would still count whether you're summoning them from your hand or not. They still count as just being in your deck as 8/8, so... That would be a kind of crazy interaction. But I obviously did it in the wrong order. This should always do the Hydrolon guy, right? Just kind of cheese in a way, but you won't even get the value from it because you won't get the rush. Now Sylvanas is going to cuck me from playing the other Sylvanas because you're going to just go on such a win streak that I won't even get to play the other one. Yeah, I'm kind of debating between Druid and Shaman for next time, for the next set of whatever I play. What else would there be? I mean, Death Knight seems too recent, so I don't really care about doing that right now. Mage, I could do at some point, but I don't feel like super eager to do it. And that kind of goes back to my anti-spell stuff that I would do a lot. It is interesting how I've done this, where like I've been going from one class to the next, but not to actually play them in some optimal way, but to play some sort of old school gimmick that I used to do, or to try to search for gimmicks that are there. So this started off with like, oh, I'll just play Karnasa because I kind of like it, but then I just try to throw in all these other things that I either haven't used or haven't used in a while or something, or just because I haven't played as hunters in years. Oh yeah, paladins are fun. I could fuck around with the the Uther thing. It almost tells you like what is my favorite deck with each class, because it's like you know, I play a warrior for the first time in a while, let's say, so I'm gonna play immediately Explore Angora Zinazari, or I play a warlock, so I'm gonna definitely play Renounced Darkness, or I play, you know, I'm playing what was the other one? I play a hunter, so I'm gonna play Karnas's Brood. So that shows you right there what I like. Then as a mage, I play like those anti-spell ones with all like counter spells and the trogs and stuff to try to, you know, really cuck your ability to play spells, which is arguably not even that much of a mage thing, but it just works because you have certain things that prevent them from casting spells, or make, you know, try to make spells cost more and stuff like that. So that's what I would do with mage a lot. Shaman obviously is all about evolve. Druids are just about like high cost things, kind of the same way I play green in Magic, or just the way that green works, but kind of not as fun in this game historically, I must say. Because see, when I played this game for the first time, probably Warrior and Warlock were my two favorite classes. Druid didn't even rank, right? There was nothing about it that was that notable. Oh yeah, Druid, I also would do the anti-spell thing though, which kind of corresponds to the high values, like you summon a 10 mana 12/12 with elusive, where it can't be targeted by spells or hero powers. So that is pretty satisfying, at least, to do. You just force them to deal with it on the board and stuff. But the point is that basically it's basically a case where
Hodir summons us.
Power before me.
it's basically a case where you would feel like and of course Lorthamar is just one of my favorite cards, despite how it has one of those arguably boring effects. It's just too good and just too, it's too universal, you know what I mean? I don't even mean good in like a specific meta sense that people would interpret it, but just like it's just, it does too much. Like introduce that card at some earlier point in the game and see how broken it would be, just giving you too much value at no real expense. Just the, oh, it's a dead play to play a 7 mana 7/7, I guess, in this day and age, but yeah, Shaman would be evolve. Who else am I forgetting? Druid would be the high cost stuff. It would also be the anti-spell stuff, mainly because you have those AoE buffs. A lot of this stuff is going to be even worse than it was at the time that I did it, and even more antiquated because it wasn't optimal. I was just doing it because it kind of made sense. Like, okay, you have like some certain little gimmick capabilities, so therefore you try to take advantage of it and make the most of it. So all those, you know, you have like 2 or 3 AoE buffs. You summon a bunch of elusive stuff that you yourself can't target, and you take advantage of it because you're able to yeah, that really helps me. You're able to basically AoE buff the stuff that you otherwise couldn't buff in anyway because you can't target it. And then who am I forgetting? Shaman would be evolve. Rogues and priests I'll just leave out of the thing because I kind of started with them with the underplayed class thing. Who am I forgetting even? Priest, rogue, shaman, druid, warlock, warrior, mage, hunter obviously we're doing now. Paladin obviously is going to be the Exodia type of thing. Yeah, there's always at least one fun mechanic on each class, although some of those people would argue aren't really even that fun. Now we get the real fun maker over here, but we won't even necessarily get the chance to do it. You know what would be cool with that line is if he dynamically said, you're nothing but food for whatever is out there. So whatever card, at least if it's a beast, you're nothing but food for my boar. But I love seeing these jacked out values, which is why Emerus doesn't even... We haven't really gotten that interaction because whenever we play one, we don't get the value of both, or it's kind of hard to have your hand really filled up at that point. And then once we finish doing all these classes for this, I could just restart and do it all over again. But I should probably try to find something. I should try to, you know, mix stuff up and do something a little bit different. But the amount of dust and stuff that I waste in the process. See, like, look how intense that was, though, even just to try to get to silver or whatever. Hang on. So there's basically two things I want to do, which is to hear all the emotes of these two Sylvanuses, which I may not even get to the other one. And I want to see maybe that Yogg-Saron interaction. And I want to see Rexxar as much as possible. And I want to see Lor'themar and Emrys. Like, all these things I've been trying to do, but it's just so inefficient. Not even inefficient in the context of trying to basically, like, not trying to win games with these mechanics or interactions, but just to even see them at all, right? And just have fun with them that way. I don't know why my bitrate's fucking up. But basically, I like how some of these things bring out my little writing short story self, where I basically, in that RP series, I would come up with all these titles and RP lines for hunters, or like here, I could do a little tribute to hunters where I read through some of those. And so today's title is a pretty good one too. It's like, every hunt must come to an end, but wait, what is even I forgot exactly how I said it. But will you be the dinner or the diner? Will you basically be the prey or the predator? Let me actually look those up. Hang on. Okay, let's see what kind of quotes with the little background fanfare of Hearthstone going. We have troll with clipped wings learns the way of water as they fight for their home. That's like kind of when we're going to the Sen'jin Isle. Obviously, the notable thing there is calling it like a with clipped wings, because you're like, oh, you're a hunter with clipped wings, in the sense that you can only use melee, which was the sort of format that I was doing for this run, in addition to it being permadeath. Then I'm basically a Warcraft Pokemon trainer. Not really like a great RP line, but just whatever. I thought we would rely on our pet more than I actually ended up doing, because I could only use melee. So I thought it would be out damaging me and stuff like that. It takes more to make a hunter than a broken troll bow. Now this is in a literal sense that you broke the bow and you can't use it, because obviously it's the line from Lord of the Rings. It takes more to make a king than a broken elvish blade. But here it's just different, because you're actually breaking the bow and not using it. Not that you're trying to use a broken bow. And then why is it called a survival hunter? Because every fight is a struggle to survive. That's just like a little meme joke type of line. On the doorstep of Orgrimmar, a troll would graduate from mediocrity. Not really a great one, but it's okay. Alliance player who killed every NPC in Orgrimmar. Okay, that's not really an RP line. To conquer death, you must look it in the eye. The Forsaken eyeball mouth eyeball emoji. Among the silver pines, a lost troll would find their other half. So this is when I was dejected about the death of my first pet, or whatever, my first pet leaving me. And so therefore I go all the way to Silver Pine to sort of look death in the eye, as I said. And then, you know, I have love at first bite with the warg that we find there in Silver Pine. The path of a hunter is a road best traveled alone, lest you may die twice. Obviously referring to the loss of the pet. The day Azeroth stood still, this was like the little RP episode where we're doing a meet and greet with our pet. And so that a line from that was like, in this world, anyone can simply survive, but you were never truly alive until you look death right in the eye. That's why, as a hunter, we may use tricks and traps. We may even play dead sometimes, but we never hide from the challenge of a hunt. That was like our mother in RP basically telling us to, no, my mother in real life, telling us to, you know, value the challenge of the hunt. Don't hide from it. This is a pretty good one. Fear not the barren land, said the Horde, for it will find nourishment in our sweat or blood. So basically, they embrace the challenge the same way that we are in the context of the run, that we're not using melee weapons. We're embracing the challenge in RP. The fact that our character isn't dejected by that, like we're still stronger than most hunters, even though we can't use a bow. We still got a pet. We still have made it so far. So we sort of relish in the challenge. That's what that line basically refers to, right? Don't fear the barren land. Don't fear the undead areas like the Tirisfal Glades and how gloomy and dark and decrepit it is. Don't worry about the barrens and these, you know, desert lands that we have to endure. Not like the lush forests of Elwyn and all these kind of posh things that the Alliance has to soak in and they're so spoiled by. We like it. We're tough enough to handle it, and it makes us stronger, and, you know, it's a good thing. And then we return to Orgrimmar, a whole troll and a true hunter for the first time. Your next hunt cannot begin until you've licked clean the plate of your last. And then this one's pretty good. Loose ends are a sin for hunters. Either they're wasted prey or potential predators, right? Just to show like, okay, you have some unfinished business. And so therefore, you know, either you're wasting your next meal that you could have killed it and cooked it, or you're, in a literal sense, but, or you're leaving something alive that can come back and take revenge on you or whatever. Kill you in your sleep. To cheat death. Okay, this was a clip that actually doesn't count. Just as the Barrens has an oasis, every hunter has a soft spot, their pet. Why was there a big break in there like that? I guess I have some clips in it, whatever. Just as the Barrens has an oasis, every hunter has a soft spot, their pet. Every day is a crossroads in the life of a hunter between life and death. And then hunters have no time to grieve. This is one of my favorite ones, actually. Maybe one of my favorite lines or titles ever. Hunters have no time to grieve. The only hole they dig is for their next trap. As if to imply that, okay, you lost your pet, but the next hole you dig isn't going to be to bury them. You just move on. You don't have time for it. And you're focused on your next hunt and your next prey that you're going to go after. By which I mean you dig a hole to put your trap in it and have them, you know. It's really good. A quest of the troll spirit, that's when, because of the death of our pet there, the warg, now it would be we went into this sort of depressive RP where we have to basically drink all the time, right, where we were drunk the whole episode and we had to waste our money on it. Hunters never rest, for their every meal depends on the next hunt. That one's pretty basic. A hunter has no need for a leash in one hand if they have a weapon in both. So sort of we learn how to dual wield to make up for, see, every base gameplay mechanic that's there, you could have learned how to dual wield before that, but it just so happened that I hadn't, and now so I use that as a reason to go learn it. Like, we don't need the pet because now we can dual wield, so we still have two sources of damage, but they're both in my hands rather than sort of holding the leash on my pet. Not that you're literally doing it, but whatever, you're using one hand to command the pet, now you're using one hand to you know, just a weapon in both, whatever. So you replace the wolf's fangs with your other weapon in your other hand. The barons will humble even the greatest hunters with death or sacrifice. What did the Tauren say to the troll farmer? You're really milking it. And then this is the last one, obviously. Then I died in fucking not Turgard Keep, whatever, Northwatch Keep or something, where that escort NPC just triggered the shit out of me. The beautiful plains of Mulgore are but the oasis of desolate Kalimdor. I like that one a lot too. Just to show that, don't let them deceive you that, oh, what a nice, lovely place Mulgore is. It's lush and beautiful, just like the Alliance areas that we talked about, like Elwyn Forest and this and that. But then you take one step out and go in any other direction, and you have Desolace, and you have, you know, you have the Barrens and all these kind of shitty places. So it'll lull you in a false sense of security that Kalimdor is actually a nice place when it's actually brutal and harsh and only for the toughest of mind. So yeah, that's just to sort of celebrate hunters a little bit, since we happen to be playing as one here too. But yeah, there's some good RP lines in there. I think that one is the best if I had to rank it. Hunters have no time to grieve. The only hole they dig is for their next trap. I like that one. You don't have to play all your arena games at once. Yeah, I haven't fucking played arena at all in ages. I always used to love it at the beginning of the game, but
Sylvanas versus Valera.
I guess that requires you to know the meta a bit more than even the random shit I do here, because it doesn't matter if I know the meta. I'm just trying to do it for the sake of doing it. Like, I'm trying to do it for, like, whatever gimmicks I want to see play out. And then if I happen to win because of that, then that's fine. So it's not that I'm not trying to win. It's just that I'm trying to win a particular way. That's more fun, or that's more important to me, right? I'd rather lose playing the way I want to play than to win playing a way that's just kind of boring or whatever. Yeah, look at how long it's taken, like the whole month, just to basically get to fucking bronze rank 2. Will we get to silver before the end of the month? Only this epic session will decide that. That is amazing, actually, how long. I mean, even if you're winning every game, if you're only playing this much time, and how long sometimes people take, like even here, I'm getting kind of trolled. What was your well-played line? I guess once we win this game, or even if we don't, we'll still be able to say it. We can start off with a threat. We are just going to kind of pigeonhole these ones out just because I have to, or just force them out, just because I have to hear them.
You too will
Oh yeah, we did hear that. So this is a pretty good card too. That's almost something I wish you could have as a druid to, like, summon all the big fucking things, like the jungle kings or whatever it's called. They, like, you make everything cost 5, so you have like a really top heavy deck. There's so many fun things you can do with older cards that weren't meant to maybe work that way, which is why Wild is sometimes busted. That's also why Wild is so fun and creative, because people will complain about the current meta, like, oh, this card is busted, and then they'll change it, and then they'll complain about another one. So whoever's getting the legend or doing really well is always taking advantage of a busted new mechanic before it gets fixed or something like that. That's always how it works.
Grab all kinds of
And so everybody can do it. You can do it too. It's just like whoever notices it or uses it or is shameless enough to do it first or as much as possible, right, gets the credit. But on top of that balance issue with current meta, you know, you would say, well, that's why Wild can't be taken seriously, but that's still more creative because you're combining like different things from different expansions, something from 10 expansions ago with something from 20 expansions ago to make this really fun and cool and possibly broken interaction. That's always more interesting rather than randomly arbitrarily restricting every card in the history of the game. Because see, there's no good criteria for doing that. Like, oh, every card that's 2 years older is just magically not going to be usable now. Like, why the fuck does that make sense? And a lot of card games do stuff like that, but the criteria is just age, right? It's ageism. Oh, it's old, therefore it's not necessary in the current meta. But there's also a bit of a contradiction there too. You would say, oh, well, it's not good enough to be relevant in the current meta, but then you could just let it be playable anyway because, oh, it's not good enough, so nobody would use it anyway. But then the flip side of it is the fact that you know what, if I get to silver, maybe I'll switch to the other Sylvanas anyway. But the other flip side of it is the simple fact that if you're going to do that based on age, right? Okay, so people say it's older, so why would you want to use it anyway? But then why would you get rid of it? The real reason is because people will come up with this creative combination of how to use some older thing in some way that's not intended or wasn't intended obviously at the time with some newer interaction. So that level of creativity and actual clever use of game mechanics is not allowed. Fun is not allowed. Instead, you have to only be successful within the contrived space that they give to you to work with, which is itself still flawed and still going to have issues with that. So I love the illusion of balance that it gives you. The current meta isn't balanced. The past meta wasn't balanced. The wild meta wouldn't be balanced if you combine both. Like, it's nothing is ever 100% balanced. So why even worry about it and just have fun with it? But people have that sort of delusion.
Greetings. I trust you will not waste my time.
Now see, in lore power, Illidan should be stronger than Sylvanas, clearly, because he was able to... In fact, the way they portray that fight in Warcraft 3 between Arthas and Illidan is not entirely accurate to how it would have gone, because in some other literature, it's like, oh, Illidan was actually winning the fight because Arthas is in such a weakened state, and then Frostmourne kind of saves him and has some moment where it just, whatever. It just has some special power that sort of saves him. So that's just to show how powerful Illidan is, that he was just about to beat Arthas, but then again, it's not the strongest version of Arthas, really. I don't see how that even helped, actually. I don't know what I'm doing. And yeah, I like all these voice lines that they say to do with particular cards that you use. Imagine if they had that for every single thing you ever played. At least like every single class card. That would be too much. Yeah, I love how I can actually say that unironically. PvZ Heroes, a fucking casual card game for mobile only, based on the Plants vs. Zombies series, a series for soccer moms to play on their phones when they're picking their kids up from school or something. That still has better presentation than games like this or Magic or Yu-Gi-Oh and stuff, where it actually shows the thing on the board like as a unit. It shows a zombie or it shows a plant rather than showing it like a card or whatever, you know. I just never really liked how these look. Not the art itself, but the way that it's presented, right, with no 3D model or anything like that.
Let none survive.
Oh shit, I was AFKing on purpose to hear that. So she says that when it'd be interesting to try to place when they say it actually in the lore. Right, did she say that about the Dreadlords? Let none survive, when she's going and fucking destroying the whole area that was decimated by whatever, the fucking Burning Legion at that point, and then eventually by Arthas, but then eventually by her, because she kind of takes it back. That'll be kind of worth it, I guess. Although you should have probably just traded into that anyway, because then it makes that kind of pointless. Yeah, Demon Hunter is also one of my least played classes, at least, that I probably would put in the underplayed class round robin format, but the reason why I don't say that is because it came out obviously later, so it's not fair to say, oh, I played Demon Hunter as little as Priest or Rogue, because I didn't have the chance to do it. But, you know, having played since the closed beta, I didn't play as Rogue or Priest very much in that entire time, whereas with Demon Hunter, it's just been whenever it came out. I can't remember, but it's been like probably half that, so it's not quite as bad. I don't hold it against that as much. And somehow I played Death Knight quite a bit when it first came out, so that wouldn't even rank. That would probably be above those ones still. But it kind of makes sense because Rogue and Priest kind of represent sort of slower or contrived playstyles that I typically don't like, where Rogues are like very specific synergies or very specific things that you're trying to do. Usually. Let's get to silver with this one, and then we'll play as the other one. Which one haven't I heard? A mistake. So her lines are pretty good. Let's see if I can actually remember them. I have trouble for some reason. I trust you won't waste my time is a very good line. I guess we'll hear that at the end. Thanks is kind of mid because it's just basically saying thanks. Very clever, I kind of like, especially the delivery of it. The thanks and oops are kind of weak. Greetings and wow are pretty good. The threat is you too shall suffer is pretty decent as well. So we'll have to see what well played is. I keep forgetting. Kind of dangerous to let me have Thracian 2 turns in a row, though. Yeah, like all I wanted to do with these 100 decks was just dick around with Lorthamar and the increased values and Rexar, but it hasn't given me Rexar very much. That is probably the most fun of the hero cards for sure, because that effect is so dynamic and variable. We all know variance is what you want in a card game that already has internal RNG in terms of the number or the order in which you draw your cards. So of course you would want to see that even more with respect to
Let none survive. Let none survive. Black arrow.
so you're pretty close to dying, but that might have still been a mistake. In fact, depending on what I draw, it could definitely have been a mistake. And his minions next to it. And it kind of, if you do it so quickly, it makes it seem like you're doing more because you have like some sort of increased spell damage, but then it'll, you know, you're not taking the time to actually look at it after that runs out. It'd be pretty amazing if I lost here. I might get something that just isn't a spell, or I could get the weapon. There's a lot of things I have in here. Oh, that could definitely save me, at least in the context of, well, you could give me Huffer, first of all, but the armor and stuff should help too. They play 3 cards. Then I have to do something to protect myself when your opponent casts a spell. After your opponent plays a minion. Is something going to actually give me like a taunt? Why does it always give me fucking Leok, dude? The most useless one. Either give me a taunt or give me a rush, or I mean a charge. So the thing is that he could still just kill me, because those aren't going to stop him from somebody attacking me. Wait, that wasn't really the greatest one. I mean, you should just try to do it. Or wait. Wait, why would you do that? I guess because you assume it's like freezing trap or something that's going to return it to your hand. The problem is I still have to get either Huffer or something else to still do fucking 2 damage to his face. Or he's going to play the 3 cards. Oh, look at that. I kind of forgot about that. He just totally did that to himself. He literally could have just gone phase. Just play around the secrets that you don't know I have or what they are, because there's way too many in the game now to even know that, but... Or no, I didn't even get to hear the well, I obviously heard it before, but I have a memory issue. You should almost be able to hear them on your own in your collection menu if you just want to go through every line or something, but is you don't have to feel like you're trolling people or spamming people in them.
Sylvanas versus Valera.
Let's just play this one game here to hear her lines and to try to maybe see some sort of fun interaction with Zul'jin or something. But that's what's funny, is that I can use Lorthamar in like all of these decks, even if it has nothing to do with them, just because it's a fun card. That's just going to make everything better. Even a deck like this, it doesn't make sense because you have such a low amount of stuff here. Like, you know, it's going to make a 1 thing a 2/2 instead of a 1/1. It's a 2/2, so that's just way too good. That is actually a pretty good counter for this, but I don't really care, is the thing.
I never miss my target.
Yeah, unless it's fucking Arthas over here, dude. Or I guess this was before that happened, so I guess it's fair. We are probably going to get Carnasa pretty easily here, but I don't know about anything else. Rush after it attacks out of random may cost me into your hand. Marsh Hydra looks pretty cool. Is this supposed to be from Zanger Marsh? But it looks kind of weird. I don't remember anything looking quite like that. They made it look a lot more badass with the eyes and stuff. Or it looks somehow mechanical a little bit too. If your hero attacks this turn, okay, that's not going to happen. I like all the little animations she does. This is almost how the cards individually should look. But even then, they should look like they have more vertical sort of presence there. Even this still isn't quite as good as that.
No creature deserves to be caged.
That card is pretty good. A lot of stuff in here is just for random sake. Not that there's any special synergy or meaning to it. Or not even that it's really all that fun of a card. You have to have some of these actually just good power creep quality cards, because otherwise you can't even survive long enough to do any fun interaction. Even at low ranks like fucking silver and gold or whatever. Bronze.
Unity, precision, perfection.
That one has rush. This one has taunt. This one has equip a 3/2 bow. We're pretty close to Carnasa. Or actually, I'm not though. Finale, we're not going to be able to do.
Little fiddle. Be free, spirits.
This is the downside of having all these 1-cost ones though. Like when you're in actually a decent board position, you can't really do anything with it. I guess we won't end up hearing everything from Sylvanas because I'm not really finding a good excuse to do it. But yeah, she was a little too cocky before she got humbled by Arthas over there. You could reorder it so that would solve the problem of the whole thing with Carnasa, but now I may as well wait till I get it first. Lifesteal, Rush, Wind Fury, kind of a little a la Cure wannabe dude with too many different effects. Wait, what? That must prove it's a bot. What did you just do? We could do Rexar, we could do this for, let's just do the higher value stuff, I guess. Why the fuck would you do that, dude? That's like even doing emotes will fall on deaf ears. Not that I really care about the response to them, but
I can see your potential.
oh, just like Arthas saw your potential. Everything you can do a comeback to do with that. You never miss your shot except when it's on Arthas, huh? Or I can see your potential except when you of the next 3 minions you play to 8/8. I see your potential, just like Arthas saw your potential, which is why he turned you into a Banshee. Even if it didn't entirely work out for him still. If she was a big part of the reason why. Like, if he had just killed her, period, and not brought her back to torture her, then he would have... Well, not saying he would have never been beaten, but it definitely... She was the reason why he lost a lot of his territory back there, right? And you can blame Kel'Thuzad, like, oh, he left Kel'Thuzad behind to take care of that responsibility and stuff, but he was just too badass. She took out all the Dreadlords, everything. Yeah, next time I'll do some kind of other class that I'm not even sure what it's going to be. But if we think about it, you know, we started, okay, we did Priest and Rogue, underplayed. Then we did Warlock, Renounce, Warrior, Zinazari, Explorer, and Goro, whatever. So Shaman is waiting in the wings for Evolve. We'll save Paladin maybe for later for the whole Exodia and maybe some other fun mechanics. We're trying to combine the old gimmicks with maybe something new that I haven't seen or paid attention to, because I haven't played these in so long. Mage will save. So we'll save Mage and Paladin. Hunter we just did. Druid. So it's Druid and... Okay, Demon Hunter and Death Knight, I don't even care. We did enough Death Knight for my purposes too a while ago, but... We can save those two like for the end. Maybe Demon Hunter and Death Knight. We'll save Mage and Paladin for the middle. So right now we got Shaman and Druid to whatever extent I want to do them. And in fact, I should almost make a point to do Druid just so I can... just to, what do you call it?
I have faith in the strength and will of the Quel'Dorei.
So part of the reason why I even wanted to do Hunter here was to try that. But then in the whole time of experiencing it, I don't think I ever... You could never have imagined what horrors would follow. It's the fact that basically you, I still didn't get to hear the fucking all the lines of it.
I have faith.
That's kind of sad, actually. Maybe I should do another one. Well, I feel bad for just spamming the lines, though. Whatever. We'll save it. It'll give us reason to come back to her. But we could try that fucking Cthulhu eyeball thing to try to see if we want to do it there with respect to playing Druid next time. So we're doing it just for these 3D avatars that I wasted money on, just to flex them. I'm going to play these classes in that particular order. But if I do Druid, then there's two decks in particular that I want to go for, or two mechanics. One of them is the anti-spell buff thing, even as bad as that might be with the AoE buffs and stuff. And then the other one is just high cost minions in general, maybe the jungle giants type of thing, something like that, even as old school and shitty as that might be. The problem with a lot of the newer cards and power creep is it'll let you do the same things that you were trying to do with decks like that, just without all the work. You can get to the same result or outcome just without as much effort. So why wouldn't you just do that instead? You know, that's the problem with it. And we'll see what the twist mode is too.